CBC Sports, Canada's Olympic Network.
The Jets try to rally as we welcome you back to the Broadcast Centre in downtown Toronto, the hub for our coverage of the 1996 Stanley Cup playoffs on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Well, it was Zhamnov with the goal that stood up for 2 periods that had Winnipeg off to a great start last time out. Maybe they should try not scoring first tonight, because thus far in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the teams who have scored first are 4 and 8. Big challenge for the Jets, it goes without saying, at Joe Louis Arena. A couple of developments from last night, a rough and tumble night around the NHL. Nick Kypreos' hit or accidental collision with Grant Fuhr is being investigated by Brian Burke this evening. It happened in the first period last night at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Pronger on Kypreos into Fuhr, and as you know, I'm now hearing it's an ACL injury, anterior cruciate ligament, that will keep Grant out for the remainder of the playoffs. But Brian Burke got a report from Brian Lewis and John D'Amico this afternoon, and we'll have word on that. There were 2 other hits that got his fancy, as GMs complained. One was Pat Verbeek running Quintal into the boards from behind, and Brian has said, no way, no further discipline. And the other was Gino Ojic bowling over Troy Murray in Colorado en route to a goal in the slot. And again, Brian has said there will be no further suspension for that. Well, tonight, Detroit and the Winnipeg Jets at the Joe, and there's Don Whitman and Brian Hayward. Gentlemen, how about a scene set?
Thank you, Ron. Hi, everybody. I guess, Brian, the big question from a Winnipeg standpoint tonight is, will the Jets be able to sustain for 60 minutes the success they had with their defensive play for 40 minutes in Game 1?
Well, you know, certainly that's the objective. But they also have to find a way to put a little bit more pressure on that Detroit defense. That's where they really are most vulnerable. I think as well, Keith Tkachuk has to become a factor in this hockey game.
Habby Bullen was outstanding defensively for the Winnipeg Jets. The goaltender made 34 saves in Game 1. They don't want to see him get as much work in this one.
You know, there were some indications early on that he was on top of his game. Look at how aggressive he was on this play on Kozlov. Also extremely aggressive around the goal crease here, using the stick to take the puck away from Yzerman. This guy is one of the most athletically gifted goalkeepers in the National Hockey League. And in this series where Winnipeg is clearly outmatched, Habby Bullen could be the equalizer.
Well, the Jets want to generate more offense. They only had 14 shots in Game 1. If they want to even this series at a game apiece, they'll have to do more tonight. Ron?
Thanks very much, Don. You hear the crowd roaring already at Joe Louis Arena. I've always said Detroit is a seedy city. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking Red Hot Chili Peppers, Bob Seger, the Supremes, and apparently there's something new in the works, as reported by Scott Oak.
Ron, Detroit is crazed over the Wings. It's only Game 2 of the playoffs. The team is front page news in both major dailies. The local telecast of the series opener on Wednesday attracted a record audience, but here's the big news. They've got this snappy playoff song called I Want Stanley, replete with deep lyrics like, hey, give it to the Russian line, they'll be fine. No, it doesn't sound right if you're not singing it, and I won't be, but it is available on CD. It's all part of the hoopla surrounding what everyone believes will be a march to the Cup by the Wings. It began on Wednesday, but not in the way that many fans thought it would. Detroit is full of shiny skyscrapers, but really is a blue-collar town. The economy driven as much or more by those on the assembly lines as those in the office towers. Similarly, the Wings in Game 1 were driven more by their foot soldiers than by their stars. A role player all season long, Chris Draper led a charge to Habby Bullen's goal and got the Wings on the scoreboard in the third. The goal, the result of hard work. Keith Primo can play it either way, as a star or on the assembly line. He did in Game 1. The big centerman took some of the steam out of the Jets, clearly ever mindful of his work ethic. And Greg Johnson, overshadowed by flashier teammates all season, had his moment in victory, accounting for Detroit's third goal. The depth of the team underlined by this victory.
We want to have a good work ethic. Obviously, we want to play patient against the Winnipeg Jets Hockey Club. We realize that they can score a lot of goals if we give them opportunities, so we want to play a tight defensive game and maybe not wait till the third period to score the first one tonight. Maybe get it a little earlier tonight.
And how about this interesting fact? Chris Draper was virtually given to the Wings by Winnipeg 3 years ago. He was surrounded by reporters after practice today and apparently is enjoying his moment in the spotlight. Ron, back to you.
And does he ever deserve it? Here's Kelly. Rudy Kelly, you want this in your collection. This is the Winnipeg Jets hockey-style rock album.
I'm sure there's a lot of kids that are going to grow up listening to this, and that's going to be their first impression of music.
Yeah. Randy Bachman, Colin James, Streetheart at HMV stores in Winnipeg. Proceeds to Goals for Kids. Well, Habby Bullen apparently, as you know, was sensational. Right. Was in awe to see Larionov and Fedosov and be in a game against them.
Well, if he was in awe, we certainly didn't see it by his performance. But I have to admit, twice in my career I've been in awe. The first time was when I played the Philadelphia Flyers and Bobby Clark. That was an incredible experience, and I was looking at him, and he looked mean, and he's exactly what I envisioned. Then the second time is when I had to sit here and be right beside you.
Well, I mean, Sherry goes through that all the time, and it's
Daily.
amazing he can concentrate. Yes. Zhamnov is the other key for me of that Russian contingent for the Jets. He looked good in the first game and scored a goal, which is nice. His back, I guess, feels great.
Right. Good news if you're a Jets fan. Terry Simpson is expected to increase his ice time from 23 minutes in Game 1 to, or 18 minutes in Game 1 to 23 in Game 2, and that's great for the Jets. The Russians really take a lot of pride in their play against their fellow countrymen. And I'm expecting he's going to have a great game against Larionov and Fedorov.
You stop looking at me, those numbers won't be so hard to remember. Well, can they do anything? You know, does Detroit have any concerns in this game?
I don't think so. I think from Detroit's standpoint, it's going to be a lot of the same. We're just going to see wave after wave after wave, and poor Habby Bulin.
Yes. Well, here's another little treat for you. We talked a lot about the Canadian contingent last night and the prospects for two Canadian clubs tonight on Hockey Night in Canada. In Tampa on Sunday, they will have 23,005 are already sold. They're looking at 27,000 for the game. Of course, they won in Philadelphia. Larry Hirsch and Steve Dumig, if this isn't the Stanley Cup playoffs, listen to their description of the Bellows overtime winner.
Left wing Hammerlin. Sends it ahead, Gratton off his stick. Played ahead, blocked by Gratton. Cuts it into the Flyers zone, drops in the slot. Bellows! A shot! He scores! He scores! He scores! He scores! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! They got it! Sir! Yes, sir! Flyers. They steal it from the Flyers.
That go in?
Are they excited?
Yeah, Giants win the pennant with that. That's wonderful. Tampa looking forward to playing Philadelphia. And incidentally, Otto is a possibility. Druce is not going to play for sure, and Leclerc is doubtful for that game.
They need Otto, but they need the other two guys also. That's going to affect the series.
Coming up next, we will show you the effects of the Jets and the Wings on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Game 2 of the quarterfinal series with the Red Wings 4-1 winners in Game 1, and referee Bill McCreary is getting set to drop the puck for the opening faceoff. It will be Steve Yzerman against Craig Janney. Drake and Tkachuk are on the wings, and it is Primo and McCarty on the wings alongside Steve Yzerman. The Winnipeg Jets feel they have to get more pressure here. It is early. A centering attempt by Dallas Drake just failed to find the mark. Tkachuk back to the net is checked. Drake is in there battling for the puck. It comes out front. Manson manages to keep it in the zone.
Very significant, the fact that Manson came right down below the hash mark. Boy, we sure didn't see that in the last game done.
That's something Terry Simpson said they had to do, get the defenseman more involved. Here's a chance as it was centered by Dallas Drake. He was knocked down. The puck comes to the line, and Dave Manson is there to check Steve Yzerman. Now it's picked up by McCarty. Long lead pass for Primo. Primo trying to get around Manson. He got into position, couldn't get a shot away as Manson was able to recover.
Nice play by Manson because Primo is just so dangerous. You expect him, however, to bull that puck right to the net.
Konstantinov is offside as he attempted to streak down the left side, but it was a two-line pass. Nikolai Habibulin, Tsar Nikolai, as he is referred to by his Winnipeg teammates. During the course of the game, Brian, he may go through more water than any goaltender in the league.
Well, you know, he's one of the most active goalkeepers in the league, and he certainly expends a lot of energy. Chris Osgood, on the other hand, did not expend an awful lot of energy in the last game. Only 14 shots he faced. This is the busiest in that opening minute that he has been so far in this entire series.
Pierre Champoux working the lines tonight in his first playoff assignment. Jamnov's shot is blocked from the point, flipped in by Newmanen in the corner, trying to move it along the boards is Maltby, and it slides all the way down the ice. Going back after it is Newmanen. Newmanen in his own zone, flips it up into neutral territory. Jamnov racing after the loose puck. Osgood comes out of the net to play it. He has had difficulty at times playing those loose pucks, and he almost mishandled that one. Korolev back of the net for Olczyk. Olczyk trying to get it to the point. Finlay with his shot. That's deflected to the corner. The Jets much more aggressive to start this game than they were in Game 1, but this is going to be trouble. Here comes Kozlov breaking out with Fedorov. Over to Fedorov, saved by Habby Bull, and the first good scoring opportunity of the game.
What an incredible save by Habby Bull, and he is such an aggressive goaltender. Sometimes he can be a little bit out of position. In the 2-on-1, he had to come a long way to get across to stop that shot. Terrific lateral movement by Habby Bull.
That's twice now in the early going that the Jets have been caught as a result of their aggressive play.
Well, there's no question that they wanted to set a tone to this hockey game, but Detroit is such a potent team on the counter strike. You have to be careful and you have to exercise good judgment.
Back to the point. Rouse with a shot that sails wide. As we said in game one, the Red Wings are so effective with the transition game. Rouse chases the puck down in his own zone. Doan is in there forechecking, so is Shannon. Chris Draper, who got the tying goal and ignited the Red Wing offense in game one. In the third period, is out there going down the right side as Coffey leads the attack. Coffey goes right through. Big save, rebound, and it was knocked away from Taylor. The Jets come back 2-on-1. Here's Keith Tkachuk trying to get into position, and Rouse did a good job of standing him out.
Terrific play by Bob Rouse, and how about Paul Coffey? In all alone on Habby Bull, and he's one of the first Red Wings all the way down the ice on the back check.
Dave Manson falls, but Maltby can't get to the puck. And it slides to Habby Bullen, and he holds it for a face-off. Pretty good early pace to this hockey game. We've played 3:05. How many times have we seen Paul Coffey during his brilliant career take the puck and lug it the entire 180 feet?
I'll tell you what a burst of speed by Coffey through the neutral zone. We can pick him up all the way from his own end of the rink, just gathering speed with that effortless stride of his. And he blows right around Craig Muni. Terrific save by Nikolai Habby Bulin. No question, Paul Coffey has had tremendous success against these Winnipeg Jets in the past.
And most of that success when he was a member of the Edmonton Oilers, as the Jets and the Oilers met so often in first-round action. You can even relate to that, Brian, in your playing career.
You know, he didn't have a bad supporting cast with him there in Edmonton either.
Three-time Norris Trophy winner, Paul Coffey, 35 years of age. He still skates as well as he ever did. Perhaps he's even a little faster. And he told me that one of his goals to play in the '98 Olympic Games. So he's going to be around for a couple of more years.
Certainly is not showing any signs of slowing down at all. Terrific skater.
Ramsey from the point just fires it wide. And who would suspect that Ramsey would be the leading scorer for the Red Wings after one game of the playoff series?
Said he was going to take a picture of it this morning and frame it, because he does not expect that it's going to continue for long.
Fedosov said, is this going to be another miracle on ice?
Yeah, that's right.
Here comes Stevie Yzerman. Yzerman puts on the brakes, looks for someone to give it to, flips it back to the net for Darren McCarty. McCarty has had a career year. He tries the wraparound attempt. It comes out into the slot area. Nobody in position. It's knocked back in, and this will be a delayed offside call against the Red Wings.
The Winnipeg Jets going with pretty much the same lineup that they had in game one. No significant changes. The same line so far, but we'll keep an eye on Alexei Zhamnov. Terry Simpson suggested that he would not wait long to juggle his lines if they weren't performing the way he wanted to. There's the defensive pairings for the Jets.
I think Simpson may also do a little double shifting of Keith Tkachuk in tonight's game. We've seen it early. He was out there with two different units.
Well, in this situation, you know, he's got to shorten his bench pretty early. You didn't see an awful lot of the fourth line in game one. I don't expect that you'll see them an awful lot in this game as well. The Red Wings, they are just so deep. You got to have your best players on the ice as often as possible. Simpson
did have a great line before game one. He said, we have one big advantage over the Red Wings coming into this series. We're not overconfident. Fedosov tried to feed it up through the middle. It was broken up by the Jets. Now Konstantinov gets to the puck. He's bumped there by Dallas Drake. Fedosov takes it back in his own zone, trying to set something up with Kozlov, and he feeds it through the neutral zone to Larionov, in with Primo. It was left there, knocked away from Primo, and the Jets start back. Craig Janney tried to dump it through. Dallas Drake with a shot. The rebound. Tkachuk couldn't get a handle on it. And that's something that Janney has to do. Be able to shovel that pass through to the wingers, Drake and Tkachuk going hard to the net. That's what Terry Simpson talked about this morning.
It's the only way that Craig Janney is going to be effective is if his wingers are driving hard towards Chris Osgood, and the Jets showing plenty of desire and heart to do exactly just that early in this hockey game.
Winnipeg is outshot Detroit by a 3-2 margin. In game one, they didn't get their first shot on goal until the 10:06 mark of the opening period, and that was the goal by Alexei Zhamnov that had Winnipeg in front 1-0. Back to the line, Teplin getting set. He fires it into the corner. Penalty coming up. Zhamnov couldn't get a shot away as he was checked by Brown, but there's a penalty coming up against the Red Wings. The Jets will have the first power play of the hockey game.
That was just a terrific play by Doug Brown, because Korolev found the seam and he hit Zhamnov with that pass. See the indication by Bill McCreary. Interference call coming up. We haven't seen an awful lot of interference calls early on in the playoffs. Comes back to bite the Detroit Red Wings. They have been lobbying for the referees to crack down on the interference. Here's that play right there. You see Brown gives Zhamnov a little bit of a shove in front of Chris Osgood. He hits the deck, and the referee's right arm goes up. Good opportunity for that Jet power play unit.
They were 0 for 4 in game one against the #1 penalty killing team in the league.
Chris Osgood, I mentioned he's been busier earlier on in this hockey game than he was perhaps the entire first game. Made a nice save on Dallas Drake.
Zhamnov takes it back at the point for Jani. Jani puts it into Tkachuk. Tkachuk goes to Olczyk back of the net. Olczyk tried to play it back to the point, but nobody was in position.
Well, we talked to Terry Simpson about the ineffectiveness of that Winnipeg power play, and he put the blame squarely on his club's passing. He says, you know, this is a high-pressure penalty-killing unit for the Red Wings, and to be successful against it, we have to be able to complete 2 or 3 passes in succession.
Jani tried to feather a pass out front. It deflected. Now it's Olczyk battling back to the net. Jani's in there as well. So is Tkachuk. He comes up with the puck. Back to Newman at the line. He gets it back to Tkachuk. He shoots. Loose puck in front, picked up by Yzerman. Tkachuk broke his stick, has to go to the bench for a new piece of equipment. A lead pass. And the Detroit player was taken right into the net. And there's no penalty call. Back in the lineup is Bob Airy after serving a 2-game suspension, but there was no penalty call in the play. Ron?
Kind of a surprise, them going with Ole Kolzig. Chris Osgood must have been watching Hockey Night in Canada last night. Does not want any kind of bumping in his goal crease, and sends a message to Craig Jani. Bob Airy, who's been known to take a dive or two, goes swimming into that Winnipeg Jet net. Good no call by referee Bill McCreary.
Well, last night in Toronto, of course, the focus was on Nick Kyprios going into Grant Fuhr, and that has sidelined Grant Fuhr for the balance of the season. Some people quick to blame Kyprios. Others are suggesting that Chris Pronger should never have cross-checked Kyprios into Grant Fuhr. The Winnipeg Jets with 49 seconds remaining in this power play, unable to get any sustained pressure. Tverdovsky couldn't control it at the point, and Fedorov breaks out, working in against McIver. Coffey scores, taking a beautiful pass.
Club is just so dangerous, but keep an eye on Paul Coffey. He's the second man on the play. Watch what he does to Oleg Tverdovsky. Gives him a little hook and blows right by him. That's why Coffey's available to receive that pass. And what a beautiful pass it was by Fedorov. You see already Coffey's got the step on young Oleg Tverdovsky, and a terrific finish, just slips it between the pads of Nikolai Habibul, and the Red Wings, even in the shorthanded situation, have all kinds of talent to throw out there on the ice.
There's no substitute for speed in any sport, and Paul Coffey has to be one of the all-time best skaters in the National Hockey League.
And he's a pretty fair finisher as well. Habibulin actually was over to protect the short side, but when the goaltender has to extend himself like that, so often he has to leave that area between his legs vulnerable, lifted his goal stick right up off the ice, and that's what allowed Coffey just to slide it home.
Special teams play, a power play goal for Coffey last night, a shorthanded goal tonight, and the Red Wings have a 1-0 lead. Not much Habibulin could do, as he had Fedorov coming in with all kind of speed And then Coffey jumping up into the play and taking a beautiful feed right in front to slip it between his legs. Here's another turnover by the Jets. Fedorov shot knocked up in the air by Abby Bullen. Jamnoff is back there to pick it up.
So one point that Scotty Bowman has been driving home to his players. Attack this team with speed. He thinks that they can be beaten in one-on-one situations, but speed through the neutral zone seems to be critical for Detroit.
Penalty coming up against Winnipeg with 5 seconds remaining. Actually 6 seconds in the penalty to Doug Brown. So in 6 seconds, the Red Wings will have their first power play of the hockey game, leading by a score of 1-0. And it's Winnipeg's Keith Tkachuk who's heading off to the penalty box.
That's a slashing penalty against Keith Tkachuk. And you got to wonder if perhaps a little bit of frustration setting in early. You know, Terry Simpson has already had some conversations with Tkachuk, suggests that he needed to get more involved in the center of the ice than he was in that first game. Let's keep an eye on Tkachuk right here. He's chasing Chris Draper. And there's the chop right across the arms. Not a real vicious one, but I'm sure that McCreary wants to keep control of this hockey game early.
Well, in game one, Darren McCarty was basically on an assignment to line up against Keith Tkachuk. Some thought it might be Chris Draper's role, but McCarty drew the assignment, and he relishes the position he's in playing against Keith Tkachuk.
Well, he's got that big body, and he's really one of the few Red Wings that can match up physically against, you know, the big horse Keith Tkachuk. But he did do an admirable job in game one.
Red Wings on the power play, leading 1-0. Here's Konstantinov, stopped at the line, forced to go back to center ice to try and set something up for the Red Wings. 12:32 remaining in the opening period. Red Wings in front, 1-0. Fedosov had a beautiful goal in game one on a pass from Fedorov. Now it's Fedorov sliding it through to Kozlov. Larionov looks back to the point. Fedosov returns the pass. Larionov moves in, drops it off for Fedorov. Fedorov lets it go, saved the rebound, and at the side of the net, Kozlov couldn't get a stick on it.
Terrific puck movement by the Detroit power play. Let's take a look at that Detroit lineup tonight. Only one change. Bob Airy, you see him down there on the fourth line, replaces Stu Grimson. Airy, of course, just finished off serving his 2-game suspension, and no changes back at the blue line.
One of the reasons that Scotty Bowman decided to insert Airy into the lineup to replace the tough guy Grimson is that he really didn't feel this was going to be a series where you really needed a physical presence like that.
Well, not a lot of fighting anyway. Here's that last Detroit opportunity. See how well they move that puck around. You see that the rebound was available for Kozlov. It was a fine play by Craig Muni to get there and cover it up.
1:13 remaining in the Tkachuk penalty. 12:08 in the first period. 1-0 the Red Wings lead. At the point, Lidstrom lets a shot go through traffic. Picked up off the end boards. Fed to Coffey. Coffey returns it to Yzerman. Yzerman getting set, shoots, and a pad save by Abby Bullen as the puck deflects to the corner. Newman fighting in there with McCarty. The puck comes out front to Yzerman. Lidstrom takes it back to the point, gives it over to Coffey. Coffey at the side of the net trying to set up Primo. And the puck bounced away from Keith Primo and is then deflected up into the crowd.
Steve Yzerman, he's always been a heads-up player. Only in the last couple of years that people have been a lot more appreciative of his defensive talents, and his name is being bandied around as a Selke candidate. But watch the play by Yzerman. He freezes everybody, tries and throws it into the net. A nice save by Abby Bullen. You might have caught out of the corner of your eye. Keith Primo sneaking out of that corner. Actually, it's Darren McCarty. McCarty got there just a split second too late to provide the screen.
Yzerman became the 22nd player to score 500 goals during regular season play on January the 17th against Colorado, and he came very close to getting his first against the Winnipeg Jets. It's Lidstrom across to Coffey. Excellent puck movement by the Red Wings, and finally Dallas Drake gets it and clears.
You see the strategy of what could be characterized as the Red Wings' second power play unit with McCarty and Primo up front. It's basically get that puck into the crease area.
Coffey plays it back to Lidstrom. He faked the shot, moves in, now slides it across, and it's fired wide by Yzerman. It looked as though Lidstrom was going to wind up and let that high, hard one go, and he spotted Yzerman uncovered. Yzerman's shot went wide. Here's Lidstrom sliding it in for Yzerman. Yzerman chops it back at the net for Primo. The Winnipeg Jets back at full strength as Tkachuk is out of the penalty box. Lead pass for Stapleton. He's forced to circle back by Johnson. Now he dumps it down into the corner and goes to the bench on a line change as Coffey, who has been out there for the entire power play, finally heads off to the bench. Johnson trying to work his way through. The puck in skates, and it's flipped back to center ice as we approach the midpoint of period 1.
The Red Wings don't score on the power play, but it was a pretty awesome sequence for them. Moved that puck around. They had 3 or 4 outstanding chances against Khabibulin. You got a real good look at why they are the second best power play in the league.
Dave Manson made a bad move, cutting right in front of his own net and lost control of the puck. Taylor flips it around the boards in his own zone. The Red Wings take no chances. Fedosov under pressure fires at the length of the ice. And McIver goes back to touch it for an icing call with 9:47 remaining in the first period.
Well, Dave Manson is one of those Jet defensemen that the Red Wings really want to apply the pressure to. He does have a penchant for coughing the puck up. Take a look at this. All of Manson's passing options are taken away from him, and he does not make the safe play. You want to keep that puck on the boards wherever possible. I got to believe that Terry Simpson gave him the old tap on the shoulder and reminded him of exactly that.
Back at the line. Here's a shot by Muni, and it doesn't miss by much. From the other point, Tverdovsky lets a shot go. Picked up in the corner by Korolev. He tried to feed Olczyk behind the net. Olczyk was tied up. The puck loose in the corner. Tverdovsky pinched in. A centering attempt is smothered by Red Wing goalie Chris Osgood. 7-3 now, the shots on goal favoring the Red Wings.
Osgood has looked a lot more comfortable and relaxed early on than he did in game 1. Still has a little bit of difficulty handling that puck, but of course the focus is on stopping the darn thing, and he's certainly done a good job of doing that.
Well, Scotty Bowman has been keeping everybody guessing for the first 2 games as to who his starting goaltender will be. Many thought it would be Mike Vernon, but in the first 2 games he has started Chris Osgood. There's a feeling that he's saving Vernon to play in Winnipeg on Sunday afternoon.
Well, I think Scotty has some concerns about how Chris Osgood will react with the sea of white that the Red Wings can expect to see once they do arrive in Winnipeg.
Well, it will be a sold-out, very noisy Winnipeg Arena on Sunday afternoon for Game 3 and again on Tuesday night for Game 4. Will there be a 5th game in this series? Well, here's a chance now for the Red Wings. And denied right in front of the net. Doug Brown with a huge save by Khabibulin with 8:53 remaining in the first. Well, Doug Brown was denied by Khabibulin, but in the process, Jeff Finlay picks up a penalty.
See Fedorov controlling that puck, and look at that little dish down low by Mike Ramsey. Khabibulin has been brilliant early again.
An interference call against Finlay as the Red Wings go to the power play. Primo plays it back of the net. Yzerman now looks to the point for Coffey, a return feed. Coffey into the high slot, couldn't get a shot away, dishes off to Yzerman. Yzerman looks down into the corner trying to find Lidstrom, who had pinched in. It bounced away from him. Manson trying to tie his man up back of the net. Now Lidstrom manages to get the puck loose to Primo. Coffey back at the point, lets the shot go, save, and the rebound knocked away from McCarty. Yzerman picks it up. Yzerman takes a look towards the net. Now over to Coffey, a one-timer save and a big rebound, and is picked up by Dave Manson. He attempts to ring it around the boards, cut off by Lidstrom. Manson gets it again. This time he slides the pass ahead to Zhamnov. Zhamnov starts out slowly for Winnipeg, gives it over to Dallas Drake. There's a shot and a save by Chris Osgood.
You know, that power play unit is so difficult to defend against because they give you so many different looks. Every once in a while, they'll send one of their defensemen down low to really confuse the 2 Winnipeg defensemen in front of Khabibulin. And then before you know it, they just zip it down into that crease area and let the 2 big guys battle for rebounds.
Well, that's what they did on their last drive into Winnipeg territory with Lidstrom down in deep. Puck comes back out across the line. Fedosov picks it up with 29 seconds remaining on the Detroit power play. Larionov trying to set something up, drops it off for Fedorov. Fedorov gets to the line, stopped there by Stapleton. Stapleton lost control, it's still loose. Picked up by Larionov. Two Jets had overskated it. Back to the line, Fedosov over to Konstantinov. His shot is partially blocked, but the Jets can't get it out. Konstantinov over to Fedosov. Fedosov into the slot area. Kozlov takes his time for Larionov. Back to Kozlov. Larionov out front, and Fedorov's shot just goes wide. Fedorov was uncovered in the slot area. His quick release just sails wide. Chris King steps into him as the Jets are back at full strength.
And it's a much more passive box by the Winnipeg Jets, and I think that works to their disadvantage. It just gives them that split second of extra time needed to move that puck around.
And the penalty call against the Red Wings. Or is it a high sticking indication by referee McCreary? No, a penalty call against the Jets. Chris King, pardon me.
You see King arguing with Bill McCreary. Happened right at the end of that last sequence. The Red Wings really applying the pressure. There you see King. He just got the stick up a little bit high. I think it was on Kozlov. You wonder how long this penalty killing unit, and I think that's what the coaches are discussing over that Winnipeg bench, can survive in a passive box. The Red Wings moving that puck around. Watch the stick of King right here. Comes up and just clips Kozlov in the right ear. Good call by McCreary.
King had one of the best lines of the series. After game one, he was asked about the Winnipeg Jets loss, and he said, "You really didn't expect us to sweep them at 4, did you?"
Wishful thinking, anyway.
So the Winnipeg captain is in the penalty box. He was out there at the tail end of the penalty killing on the previous call against Finlay, and the Red Wings with back-to-back power plays, and this is something the Winnipeg Jets can ill afford against a talented team like Detroit. Here is Yzerman. Yzerman had a man sneaking in, couldn't get the puck to him, gives it to Lidstrom in the slot area to Primo. His shot goes wide, and Tkachuk bangs it down the ice.
You know, Darren McCarty is really getting away with murder. He's got Dave Manson all tied up so that the Red Wings can kind of set up a 2-on-1 down in front of Javi Bulin. McCarty goes right at Manson, takes his stick away, and really interferes with him, prevents him from getting involved in defending against that power play.
Yzerman works his way out of his own zone. Drives it in. Javi Bulin tries to tee it up back to the net for Craig Muni. Muni ran into a check. Puck comes back to the point to Lidstrom. Now it's Yzerman circling to get away from a check. He leaves it there. Fedorov to Yzerman. Out front for McCarty, and McCarty had a bouncing puck hop over his stick.
Yzerman forced to throw that aerial pass across to McCarty. It did not land on the ice. McCarty took a swing in vain.
Larionov looks to the point, decides to hold on. Now he drops it off. Fedosov gets it. Fedosov getting set. There's a shot off the body up into the crowd. 32 seconds remaining in the penalty to Chris King. 5 minutes exactly in the first period. The Red Wings leading by a score of 1-0, and Lady sitting in behind the Winnipeg net has obviously been hit with the puck, and it's always a dangerous area back of the goal when those pucks come flying up into the stands.
A pretty tough fan, though. She seems to have a smile on her face still. Here's that aerial pass I was telling you about from Yzerman. You can see it just does not land on the ice. McCarty takes a swing at it, but cannot connect. The Red Wings have the luxury of having two pretty gifted passers down low in Igor Larionov and Steve Yzerman. And of course, they've got the big guys as well to stand in front of the goalkeeper.
Well, McCarty this year had a career season with 15 goals. Here's Larionov with a shot going wide. People tend to forget that in his final year of junior hockey with Belleville, he scored 55 goals.
So many of those junior scorers can't make the transition to the National Hockey League because they can't play a different role than a goal scorer. McCarty does not have any problem with that. That frame of his that allows him to do it.
Damnoff moves it around the boards. Konstantinov cuts it off. Fedorov in the corner. King is back out on the ice. The Jets at full strength. The Jets have killed off back-to-back penalties. Here's Fedorov sliding it in front for Larionov, and he was checked, unable to get his stick on it. Fedosov from the point, plays it back at the net for Larionov. Larionov looking out front for Fedosov. He tried to sneak in from the point. He was checked, and the Winnipeg Jets gain control with Newman leading the attack. Ahead for Chris King. King getting set. There's a shot. It goes wide with Tkachuk driving hard for the net, but there was no rebound.
I don't think that Chris King knew that Keith Tkachuk was so wide open, because Tkachuk was streaming down that far wing just off the far goal post, and King never saw him.
Manson being watched as he goes behind the net with 3:43 remaining. Again, a pass directly in front of the Winnipeg goal. This time, the Jets were able to get it out of the zone, and then it's flipped over the boards and out of play. 3:36 remains in the first period. The Wings lead the Jets 1-0. Stanley Cup engravings during the first intermission. And we are 3 minutes 36 seconds away with the Wings leading Winnipeg 1-0. Paul Coffey the goal scorer. Fedorov the assist. A shorthanded goal for the Red Wings. Norm McIver goes after the puck in his own zone. He has got some speed and some ability to carry the puck. He fires it in, picked up by Coffey. And a whistle on the play as the puck was obviously gloved ahead up in the neutral zone. Tomorrow night, the Vancouver Canucks are back home at GM Place to take on Colorado in Game 3 of their quarterfinal series. A huge win last night for the Vancouver Canucks, and you'll see the game on Hockey Night in Canada.
You might have noticed in this hockey game that the Winnipeg Jets seem to have a lot more purpose when they are dumping the puck. Terry Simpson wants them to fire it in around the boards, or rim it in if you want to call it that. He feels that that will give his forecheckers the opportunity to get in there and get a few bumps on that Detroit defense, something that they were not able to do in the first game.
Well, because of the special team play in this opening period, Paul Coffey has certainly logged a lot of first period ice time.
This line out on the ice for the Winnipeg Jets has not spent very much time out on the ice. The first 20 should have the fresh legs for the rest of the game, however.
Well, this is the line for the Winnipeg Jets. Eastwood, Shannon, and Doan that does a pretty good job of cycling the puck down deep, but because of the penalty situations in the first period, I think they only had one previous shift.
Mike Eastwood is a guy who they count on. You know, you want that puck in along the board so that Eastwood can get in there. I haven't seen a big hit on Paul Coffey or Lidstrom or Konstantinov early on. Most of the hitting has gone on the Detroit side. Pretty good body check there by Tim Taylor, and he seemed to get the worst of it.
Taylor went in against rookie Shane Doan, and it appeared, as you said, that Doan stood his ground and Taylor got the worst of that contact.
Doan, of course, just a youngster. The Red Wings think that he has the, or the Jets rather, think that he has the potential to develop into a power forward himself. Just kind of getting his feet wet in this league.
Keith Tkachuk checked from behind as he got to the line. Jamnov picks up the puck, but it's offside Winnipeg with 2:41 left in the period. We suggested earlier that Keith Tkachuk would be double shifted. He's out there now with Olczyk and Jamnov.
And every time that he steps on the ice, Scotty Bowman, of course, with the last change, playing at home. Well, Keith Primo and Darren McCarty, along with Yzerman, are not too far behind.
Tkachuk gets it in the corner. A centering attempt goes off a skate. Jamnov comes in to help out Olczyk. They continue to battle for the puck, but Yzerman comes away with it. Olczyk is on him. Yzerman leaves it back of the goal. Fed ahead now for Ramsey. Ramsey slides it through to Primo. Primo was checked as he got to the Winnipeg line, but trailing the play. Yzerman attempted to center, and it's intercepted by Olczyk. Olczyk under pressure, couldn't find a winger open, so he simply plays it off the glass and out. Yzerman starts back, a pass ahead to McCarty, and McCarty's shot goes off Norton McIver's stick. The two players go down back of the net, and the Winnipeg Jets start back. Penalty coming up against the Red Wings. Eastwood under pressure in his own zone, flips it around to the other side. Back after it goes Dave Manson. Manson slides it ahead. The Jets get the extra attacker out there, but he doesn't really get involved in the play as it's an icing call against Winnipeg.
I think this call is going to go against Keith Primo, who made contact with Nikolai Habibul and the Red Wings on a bit of a rush, and Primo driving very aggressively towards the net. I don't think he realized exactly where he was. You know, Winnipeg, of course, I don't think has a real comfortable feeling when they do get out on the power play. The Red Wings have already scored a shorthanded goal in tonight's game. Pressure all over the ice by this penalty killing unit has to kind of affect the players when they are handling the puck, because they know if they cough it up at any time, Red Wings will jump into that transition game, and that's exactly what they did. You see Oleg Tverdovsky fumbling with the puck, and Fedorov is going to be able to spot Paul Coffey. The 2-on-1 terrific finish does not bode well for that Jet power play.
Lidstrom is out there in a penalty killing role. A goaltender interference call against Primo, as the Winnipeg Jets have a late opportunity in this first period to get back on even terms. First of all, they have to gain control in the Red Wing zone, and that's something they've had difficulty doing.
Tell you what, Vladimir Konstantinov just demolished Keith Tkachuk over the boards. Certainly he is a targeted person in this series.
Janney tried to slide it rink wide, and it was picked off by Fedorov, and again he clears as the Red Wings make a change in their penalty killing four. Teppo Numminen starts out slowly. He's being hounded as he gets to the line, and a turnover created, but the Jets managed to get it back. Now Janney gets to the line, slides it through for Tkachuk. He's checked from behind, and Yzerman starts away. Harry trying to get up into the play. Yzerman moving in, puts on the brake, shoots, saved by Habibul, and the Winnipeg Jets come back with 28 seconds remaining in the period. Jamnov gets to the line for Tkachuk. He's checked. The puck is loose in Red Wing territory, and Harry will fire at the length of the ice.
Jets having all kinds of difficulty just getting set up in the Detroit zone. And again, Terry Simpson talked about it before this game. Our passing has to be a lot better. But our players who are our eligible pass receivers have got to do a better job of getting open. That's not happening.
4 seconds remaining in the period, and the Winnipeg Jets won't get another shot. But 31 seconds will remain for the Jets in the power play to start the second.
Well, I think the Red Wings dominated play again in the first 20 minutes, and I think Winnipeg kind of dodged a bullet here. You cannot give the Red Wings so much time on the power play. Osgood was tested early, not quite so often as Nikolai Habibulin was at the other end.
The Jets did not manage a shot on their most recent power play. The Red Wings outshot Winnipeg 11-4 in the opening period, and Paul Coffey's goal is the lone goal scored so far.
Back at the broadcast center, Ron McLean and Kelly Rudy, like you, enjoying the Red Wings and the Jets through a period of play. And once again, it's tight through 20 minutes. This time Detroit does have a goal, 1-0. Paul Coffey, amazing. What did you think?
Well, probably a little better start for Detroit. I think that last game, obviously going 2 periods without a goal, they maybe were a little bit nervous. Tonight, let's get off to a better start. Let's get a goal early. Let's take a little bit of the pressure off on home ice. Winnipeg had a good start, though. They got a couple of good chances on Chris Osgood, got Osgood into the game. But I feel sorry for Habibulin. He's just under the gun every shift out there.
He seems comfortable with all this passing, though, and I guess that's from the climate he grew up in. Bobby Clark always said, you know, you look at the speed of the Red Wings, it's not the skating, it's the puck movement, and they are just phenomenal, although Coffey looks like he's got a magnet under the ice dragging him along.
Well, he looks like he's getting younger out there. And what was it, a couple days ago, we heard that he said that he honestly believes he's skating better and faster than years ago. So that's an incredible thought to think that you can get better like that.
Jim Schoenfeld went with Olaf Kolzig in net tonight. You said watching the game the other night, and this is why I bet grapes that it would be him, that you go back with the winner, although it might have been tempting to put Carey. Why do you think you went with Olaf?
Well, I think you and I, Ron, both agree that whenever a goalie wins, you have to go back with him. And I know that last night I watched a game, and Don Cherry said that, no, you have to go back with Carey, and he's your guy, and he got you to the dance and so forth. But I still believe you go with the winner, and then let's just say something unfortunate happens. Here's a couple of great saves by Kolzig here. You go back with Carey, and you can't lose.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think they stole one in Pittsburgh already, and if Jim comes in now, after a loss, they've got a little weapon in reserve. Here's Chris Joseph scoring the second goal of the game for the Penguins for Murray and Smolinski. We didn't show you that, so we wanted to get it in. Chris gets his first of the playoffs. Nedved opened it, and strange thing is, Pittsburgh scored at 2:53 and 3:04 in Game 1. They scored tonight at 3:03 and 3:39. So 2-goal leads really early in the games. It should set Washington on their heels, but they bounced back the last time.
Right, they've done it all season long. They've made great comebacks all season long, and I don't think that they're all that worried right now. They know that if they continue with the play that they've been doing, that they'll have a chance later in the game.
What's your read on Nick Kyprios falling in on Grant Fuhr?
Well, I think it's kind of funny that so much is being said about it now, although it's unfortunate Grant was injured, but this happens game in, game out, and it's happened for years. I think it's good in the sense that now the league's going to investigate it, like you said, and maybe they can cut some of this nonsense out.
You buy that Nick went after him a little?
I know that I believe him in his sincerity in saying that he didn't mean to injure Grant, but it's a known fact that, hey, let's fall into the goalie, let's get him off his game, and Pronger is as guilty as Kyprios for knocking him into the goaltender. These are big, strong guys, though. It's hard to knock them off their feet, and one little shot like that, next thing you know, he's in a Grant. It's unfortunate, but hopefully something good will come of this.
And if you're just joining us now, Brian Burke is looking at that in New York. No other incidents are being examined with respect to suspensions, but that one is. Now, to the Miami Arena, and an update, of course. Tonight we wanted to bring you up to speed on that other series, Boston and Florida. So let's go now to the Miami Arena. And that's Garth Brooks, Kelly.
Well, keeping with the music theme that we started with, that rock music in Winnipeg and how excited they are with the Jets and all, I guess we have to stay with music.
Who thinks of this stuff? The guy upstairs up the creek
He's trying to get us in trouble.
Yes, he is. And we'll be back with more of our coverage of the 1996 Stanley Cup playoffs. Detroit won, Winnipeg no score after one on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
It was a beautiful spring day in Detroit, and hockey fans in this city would enjoy it even more if the Red Wings could take a 2-0 lead in this quarterfinal series with the Winnipeg Jets. Brian, at the start, you suggested that one of the strategies of the Red Wings was try to get more speed through the neutral zone. There's a guy wearing number 77 who was flying like a youngster out there, even though he's 35 years of age.
Well, no question about it. What makes Paul Coffey so dangerous is that he has the ability to come late. You see that the Winnipeg defense here, this is the shorthanded goal by the Red Wings. Watch Coffey. He uses the hook to Tverdovsky. He catapults himself right past Oleg. And a nice finish on the 2-on-1. A brilliant feed once again by Fedorov. He is so dangerous because, he gets the speed through the neutral zone, and quite often those Detroit forwards are slowed up at the Winnipeg blue line. As a result, the Winnipeg defense is a little bit slower too, and you see that time he just blew right around Craig Muni. Khabibulin made a couple of brilliant saves. In fact, of the 11 shots on goal against Nikolai, 9 could be categorized as outstanding stops.
Well, the Jets did a pretty good job in killing off 3 Red Wing penalties, but they yielded that shorthanded goal to Paul Coffey, and that's the difference in the hockey game right now. The Red Wings leading 1-0. The Winnipeg Jets will start the second period on the power play. The Red Wings leading 1-0 on Paul Coffey's second goal of the playoffs. Greg Johnson scored for the Red Wings last night, and Scott Oak had a chance to talk to him.
Here's Greg Johnson who had a big goal in game 1 of this series. Greg, as it stands now in game 2, you're not going to have to come from behind. How does that change this game from game 1?
Well, we're pretty happy to get off to a little better start than last game. A lot of power plays and penalty kills in that period. So last game maybe it was the no-names that were doing it. Tonight it's definitely our big guys that are coming through so far.
Yeah, were it not for Nikolai Khabibulin, your lead at the end of the first period could be insurmountable. What do you think of their goaltender?
He's outstanding, and their whole team is playing pretty well. They're really sitting back and waiting for us to make a mistake, and we're trying to get in deep and get working, get some momentum on them, and get as many shots as we can.
Well, they had 11 shots in the first period and quality scoring opportunities, but Paul Coffey was the only player who could beat Nikolai Khabibulin, a shorthanded goal at 6:35. The Jets managed just 4 shots on the Red Wings' Chris Osgood in the opening period. Winnipeg has only had 17 shots on the Red Wings in each of their last 4 games. Again, let's join Scott with assistant coach Randy Carlisle.
Randy, even though your team is trailing after one, Jets look more aggressive or driving the net more when you're not killing penalties. Are you happy with that part of the game?
Well, obviously, anytime you can kill 3 penalties against a high-powered offense of the Detroit Red Wings, it's got to be a little bit of encouraging, but the 4 shots on net is something that we'd like to drastically improve on.
Shorthanded goals can shatter the confidence of the power play. How much did that one sting?
Well, those kind of things happen in tight games, and we made a mistake, and they capitalized on it. But Paul Coffey's a pretty smart player. He put a little hook on Oleg Tverdovsky to get himself in the free, and Sergei Fedorov fed him with a nice pass.
During the stretch run, as the Winnipeg Jets moved on to the playoffs, Nikolai Habibulin had a 5-1-1 record and a save percentage of .946.
Well, what impresses me about Habibulin is the athleticism that he demonstrates in that goal crease. You know, I had a conversation with Pete Peters, the goaltending coach, a couple of weeks ago, and he said to me, Brian, this kid will never give up on the puck. And quite often in a game, a goalkeeper will be beaten on a pass, and you'll just see him kind of shrug his shoulders, and the puck will be slid into the wide open goal. You'll never see that from Habibulin. There's a lot of goaltenders that can learn from the way he plays the game. I think he's going to be a great one. Just 23 years old. He's got an extremely bright future ahead of him.
Still 32 seconds remaining in the Primo penalty as the Winnipeg Jets are on the power play to start the second period. So far, they have not been able to register a shot with the man advantage. Here is Keith Tkachuk dishing it off to Jamnov. Jamnov was knocked down as he attempted to go wide. Konstantinov got a piece of him, and then the Red Wings get the puck and clear the zone, and that should pretty much kill off the final seconds in the Keith Primo penalty. Brown is in there watching McIver.
Again, the difficulty for Winnipeg is not controlling the puck. It's just getting set up in Detroit's zone. They have all kinds of problems handling the pressure as they try to break that puck out of their end of the ice.
Primo is back on the ice as Konstantinov picks it up, and it's an icing call against Winnipeg. Alexei Jamnov feels that he came through game one in pretty good shape, playing 18.5 minutes. His back didn't bother him yesterday, and Coach Terry Simpson would like to put Jamnov out there for 22 to 23 minutes in this hockey game tonight.
Well, Vladimir Konstantinov has done a pretty good job on Jamnov, taking the body on him. You know, in that first period, Jamnov played over 8 minutes. That's a very good sign for the Winnipeg Jets, because if they're going to have a chance to do something in this series, the skill players are going to have to become a huge factor. So they really need Jamnov, Tkachuk to contribute offensively.
In the first period, Paul Coffey led all Red Wings with 4 shots, and he also had the game's only goal. Yzerman and Fedorov had 3 shots each. Here's a lead pass for Tkachuk. Tkachuk trying to work his way through. The puck in skates. The Jets get a chance. They bang away. Osgood makes the save. Both Craig Janney and Tkachuk were in on Osgood as the puck got caught up in skates. Now in the Winnipeg zone, Janney is checked. Fetisov in there forechecking for the Red Wings. Now a lead pass for Tkachuk. Tkachuk from a bad angle just blistered it wide. Kozlov along the boards is checked. The Red Wings do manage to move it out to center ice. It's Fedorov working his way in. He has Kozlov coming in with him along with Rouse. And again, Nikolai Habibulin gets that pad and glove up to deny Rouse on the short side.
Terrific saves at both ends of the ice. Chris Osgood hasn't seen an awful lot of action, but when tested, he has responded to the challenge, and the Jets again show a lot of life early on in the period, much like they did in the first 20 minutes. But here's that save by Osgood. It's Tkachuk and Janney. Watch a nice little piece of work by Janney. Gets that puck and he tries to dish it off to Tkachuk, but Igor Larionov had him pretty well tied up at the other end. Surprise, surprise, Bob Rouse sneaks up on the play. Look at Habibulin, stacks the pads, takes away the short side. Another terrific save by Nikolai.
Well, you expect a Paul Coffey or a Lidstrom to jump up in the play from the blue line, but not Rouse or Ramsey, and they have been involved.
Indication of a pretty confident hockey club when even the grinders start jumping up into the offensive scheme.
Buzz of excitement as Coffey works his way in, throws it out into the slot. Nobody was in position to accept the pass. You can hear this capacity crowd at the Joe Loup buzz each time Paul Coffey winds up coming through the neutral zone.
You know, there's not a lot of players in this league who can pull fans right out of their seats. But certainly Paul Coffey fits into that category.
And he's finding the skating room tonight. Eastwood is checked along the boards. Back after it goes Tverdovsky. His pass picked off by Maltby. Maltby, a weak backhander. That is picked up by Darren Shannon in his own zone. He feeds Muni. Muni can't get out against the aggressive forechecking of the Red Wings. Now Tverdovsky will try and come out the other side. McCarty bumps into him. It's played to an open wing. This will go all the way down the ice for an icing call against Winnipeg with 17:16 remaining in this second period. Chris Osgood, the starting goaltender for the first two games of this series for the Red Wings. Mike Vernon is on the bench. The first time he has found himself in this position in the playoffs during his career. 99 times he has played in the postseason. But Brian, many people expect that Scotty Bowman will tap Vernon on the shoulder in Winnipeg Sunday afternoon.
Well, I think the thinking with Scotty Bowman going with Osgood early was that the youngster could get off to a good start here in Joe Louis, and he can always follow him up with the veteran if he needs to. The Keystone Cops routine by the Red Wings as they try to exit the defensive zone there. But if you reverse that situation, if Vernon had started and then got into trouble, there would have been an awful lot of pressure that Bowman did not want to put on the shoulders of Chris Osgood. This makes a lot of sense going this way.
Well, the last time that any team was successful in the postseason with any form of a goaltender rotation, the Edmonton Oilers, when they had Grant Fuhr and Andy Moog in the 83-84 playoffs. Fuhr played 16 games, Andy Moog played 7. Doug Brown comes in across the line, drops it off to Bob Airy. Airy wheeling back to the net. McIver trying to stay with him. Penalty call coming up against the Winnipeg Jets. And with 16:44 remaining in the second, the Red Wings, who had 3 power plays in the first, will have another. Well, I thought the penalty call was going against Winnipeg, and so did Chris Osgood, because he had started out of the net, and Bob Airy is a little surprised that he was fingered for this penalty.
Well, we wonder why McCreary took so long to blow the whistle, because it was Airy that had control of the puck. It's a roughing call against Bob Airy. A little bit of a punch to the face of Norm McIver. Good opportunity for Winnipeg to claw back into this hockey game.
Well, Airy was complaining to McCreary that McIver had a pretty good grip in his jersey as he tried to circle back to the net. McIver stretched that jersey just about as far as he legally could. Humanen cuts off the clearing attempt, but the Red Wings gain control, and they are able to dump it down the ice. At home, the Red Wings were better than 91% in penalty killing. Craig Janney works in across the line, gets the pass to Tkachuk. Tkachuk jammed away at it, and Osgood sprawled across the crease to keep it out. Tkachuk gets it again. There's a quick shot by Olczyk. Loose puck at the side of the net, smothered by the Red Wing goalie.
Terrific sequence for Chris Osgood in this hockey game. But I think Terry Simpson's likely got a little smile on his face, because we haven't seen Keith Tkachuk barreling down the center of the ice like he did on that last opportunity so far in this series. Osgood not only beat Tkachuk, but then beat Olczyk as well. Janney, terrific pass. You see, I don't know if Osgood got a piece of that puck or if Tkachuk just run out of room. But that is Keith Tkachuk's game. Down the center of the ice and make himself available so that Craig Janney can find him.
Well, Tkachuk is going to be waved out of the face-off circle, and Olczyk will move in. Puck comes back to the line. Jamnoff gets set, a shot. And Tkachuk standing right in front of Osgood, but the Red Wing goaltender is able to hang on.
You know, you mentioned the importance of speed in a hockey game. When you combine speed with power like a Keith Tkachuk does or a Keith Primo does, it also has an effect on the goalkeepers, because they have to fight that instinct not to back up in that goal crease. And of course, every time they move a little backwards, they expose a little bit more of the net. Look at Osgood. He's pretty deep in the net there, but he makes a fine glove save on Olczyk.
McIver with a shot as he raced in for the loose puck. That was fired wide. Coffey gets it in the corner, and he's able to clear. 58 seconds remaining in the Red Wing penalty to Bob Airy. Brown in forechecking, watching McIver work his way out of his own zone. He dishes off to Jamnoff. Jamnoff with a diagonal shoot in. Tkachuk and Coffey go back at the net. They collide. The puck comes free. The Winnipeg Jets get it back to the line to McIver. He tried to feed Janney, but Then he had it in his skates and couldn't control it.
Well, twice on this power play opportunity, the Jets have been able to break the pressure, the initial pressure from the Red Wings, and at least get set up.
Here's a goal, shorthanded by Brown.
The pressure up ice forces another turnover. The second shorthanded goal of the game for the Detroit Red Wings. And a quick little feed. Good job by Brown. He goes skate to stick and then just buries it short side. I don't think that Habby Bullen got a good look at that puck. Standing right in front of him was Norm McIver. Amazing the way that Brown was able to get an awful lot on a rolling puck. Terrific coordination by Brown, first to control the pass and then deliver. Pretty darn good shot behind Nikolai Habibulin.
Igor Larionov getting that puck to Brown, and a quick release gives the Red Wings a 2-0 lead. And Brian, that was a 6-octopus goal as the creatures came flying out of the stands. Short-handed goals tonight by the Red Wings. I talked about their proficiency of killing off penalties. Not only have they been able to kill them off tonight, but they have a 2-goal lead as the result of scoring while playing 4 against 5. Larionov draws the lone assist on Brown's first of the playoffs at 4:56. Red Wings back at full strength. Here's Primo. Dishing it off. There's the shot by Airy, and it's held by Habibulin. 2-0, the Red Wings lead. Let's go to our Hockey Night in Canada Control Center and Ron McLean.
Another guy with a lot of speed and some pretty good scoring skills as well. And it's important for the Jets not to get too down. They've played a pretty good hockey game. They've been victimized by a couple of shorthanded goals. They're getting strong net minding, and they have started to get some opportunities against Chris Osgood, so all is not lost.
From the face-off, Larionov fired it wide. At the line, Konstantinov lets a high shot go off the end glass. Another shot from the point, knocked down by Manson. Manson tried to feed it up the middle. Here's a chance now at the point as it's fed in for Kozlov to Larionov. Very quick movement by this Russian 5 in front of the net. The Winnipeg Jets' best Russian, Nikolai Habibulin, covers up. Now let's join Scott O.
All right, for them series that they don't have Dino. I think this mic is breaking up. I'm going to try and hold it directly to my mouth and hope that it works. But Dino, you're serving the last of a suspension tonight. Let's just say you'll be well rested for free in Winnipeg.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating to sit here and watch, but I've been preparing myself. I'm anxious to get back into the lineup. They're showing a lot of discipline in game 1, and they're able to get back into it in the third period. And they got off to a good start tonight. It's a good game plan for us right now.
All right, Dino, in game 3.
Yes, Ciccarelli will complete his 3-game suspension tonight, and he will be available for Sunday afternoon in Winnipeg. Ciccarelli ranks number 3 all-time in power play goals in the postseason in the National Hockey League.
It's amazing to think that the Red Wings are just going to get stronger as this series goes on, and certainly Dino Ciccarelli plays such an important role on that Detroit power play. The Red Wings, when they do get a goal, well, they smell blood, and one way to counteract it is to lay the body on them and remind them that they're going to have to play this game with their heads up. Terrific body check by Dallas Drake on Fetisov.
Dallas Drake did not take the morning skate today. He was bothered a bit by some bumps and bruising from game 1, but he is a feisty competitor, and there are many nights where he will sacrifice his body to make a play. Coffey to Lindstrom. Lindstrom denied by Habibulin. A turnaround attempt by Taylor does not get through. How many times have we seen Red Wing defensemen jump up into the play, as we just saw from Nicholas Lindstrom? Coffey's long shot sails wide. Brown fell. Jamnoff Tried to break through. Now it's Korolev leaving it there for Drake. Drake over to Zhamnov. It bounced away from him. He continues to control. In front for Korolev, and it hopped over his stick. Korolev plays it back to the net for Drake. Drake is being bothered back there, and the puck comes free. Paul Coffey tried to feed it ahead for Brown. Too far for him. And back after it goes Craig Muni.
A little bit of line shuffling going on right now by Terry Simpson with Dallas Drake playing on the Zhamnov line. We'll wait to see if Eddie Olczyk joins Tkachuk and Janney.
Ramsey takes the puck for the Red Wings, fires it rink wide for Bob Rouse. Rouse pushes it ahead for Primo. Primo got away from a check by Craig Muni. Couldn't center it though, and Craig Janney starts back for Winnipeg. For Tkachuk, he has Olczyk with him. Olczyk getting set, throws it towards the net. With Tkachuk driving hard, but it's up high and held by Osgood with 12:36 remaining in the second period. And penalties were assessed on that last flurry of action around the Red Wing goal. Keith Tkachuk and Eddie Olczyk going off for Winnipeg. I believe it was a high sticking call against Tkachuk initially, and then offsetting penalties against the Red Wings Rouse and the Jets Olczyk.
Well, no matter what the penalty calls are, Winnipeg ends up on the short end of the stick. Another power play upcoming for Detroit. Another fine defensive play by Mike Ramsey, tying up Tkachuk as he broke to the goal.
Well, there's been nothing wrong with the Winnipeg Jets penalty killing. It's when they've been on the power play that they've had problems. There are short-handed goals by the Red Wings. Paul Coffey got the first, Doug Brown the second. Shoot in, picked up by Lidstrom. He fires, and Abby Boulin came out of the net to challenge, and the Jets are able to clear.
Another fine save by Habby Boulin, and all of a sudden Lidstrom really stepping up his play.
Johnson tried to put an extra move on Habby Boulin, and the goaltender reacted. Johnson out front, and he was checked before he could get a shot away. He was all primed and ready to one-time that centering pass from the corner.
Red Wings just attacking with so much speed right now. They're able to find the passing lanes. Winnipeg looks like they're standing around a little bit flat-footed at this point in the penalty killing unit.
Still 1:02 remaining in the penalty to Keith Tkachuk. 11:38 remaining in the second period.
Watch the little move by Johnson. The fake slap shot forces Habby Boulin to go down. We talked about how Nikolai never quits on a play, and watch him reach back with the paddle of that goal stick. Makes another great save. All Johnson had to do was get that puck up into the air, and he had a wide open net.
Habby Boulin may have hurt his thumb in making the save on the Johnson move.
You know, the fingers and the thumb of the blocking hand don't have actually a lot of padding on it. It's much like just a leather glove, and it looks like that puck might have taken a bite out of Nikolai. Another fine save against Lidstrom. You see Habby Boulin going over to the bench. Yeah, it does look like it is the thumb that's bothering him. You know, he can't get any kind of equipment repair or even repair to the hand at this point in the hockey game, or he would have to come out and Dominic Rossell would have to replace him. Of course, it's not a situation that the backup goaltender wants to face, coming in with that Detroit power play still on the ice for the next minute and 2 seconds. Here's a look at that play. Watch where that puck hits Habby Boulin, right on the underside of the blocker. Maybe just a little bit of a bruise or a cut. Not enough to keep him out of the game, that's for sure.
Fedosov being watched by Zhamnov as he skates back into his own zone. Zhamnov blocks the shoot-in attempt, but Fedosov gets it back again. Dallas Drake along the boards, trying to chop it out, can't get it past Konstantinov. Zhamnov stepped into Konstantinov, the two of them went down. Rink wide pass now to Fedosov. Fedosov moving in. Out front, Larionov bangs away. Another shot, a backhander that goes high and wide. Larionov trying to get into the slot area. He's being watched there by Newman. Out front, and it bounces away from McCartney. There's a blast by Konstantinov, and it's covered up by Habby Boulin. And McCartney and Newman were all tangled up at the side of the net.
You know, you talk about the Fab Five of the Red Wings, a couple of Russian players in the Winnipeg Jet lineup, but let's not forget But these players played for Moscow Dynamo. I'm talking about Jamnov. He takes a run at a former Red Army guy. There's probably a little bit of bad blood between those two going way back. Happy Bulin continues his heroics down low. Bang, bang play. Igor Larionov in front of the crease. It's one whack at it. Larionov knows he's got to go up top, but he just can't find the range.
Igor Larionov, in his Red Wing debut after the trade from San Jose, scored his first Detroit goal shorthanded, and shorthanded goals have been the story of this hockey game. 2 of them by the Red Wings, Paul Coffey and Doug Brown. At the point, it is Lidstrom. He throws it towards the net, comes back to the point. The Red Wings keep it onside. Now Chris Draper gets it. He hasn't seen a lot of playing time tonight. Airy dodges a check back of the net. Maltby gets the puck, gets it to Airy. Airy trying to set up. Maltby attempting to get into position. Airy holds on to the front of the net with Draper cruising through the crease, and it's held by Javi Bulin.
Never a bad play for the goaltender when you're under a lot of pressure to get as many whistles as you possibly can. Allows Terry Simpson the opportunity to make any line changes that he's looking for and force the Red Wings to respond in kind. Chris Draper is a terrific skater. The Red Wings just seem to have so many interchangeable parts. They attack with speed. Scotty Bowman was the guy that gave Chris Draper the chance, and of course Draper very thankful for the opportunity. He's made good on the opportunity.
He was sold for $1 on June 30th, 1993. Do you think if they put him on the market for $1 again, somebody would grab him? Lidstrom fakes the shot, gets into the slot, fires it wide. McCarty tied up by Manson. The Jets at full strength as Tkachuk tries to pick up the puck in the neutral zone. Overskated it. Now it's McIver coming to the line, and a whistle and a penalty call here against the Red Wings. Very difficult up here to hear the whistles down at ice level with the crowd noise at the Joe Louis Arena.
I'll tell you what, Keith Primo just got away with a pretty good elbow on the jaw of Keith Tkachuk. After the whistle, you can see Primo, one eye on the referee to see if his arm is upraised. Tkachuk draws the first penalty. He can't believe it.
Tkachuk had better be careful that he doesn't wind up with a 10-minute misconduct here, as he is at the bench saying something to referee McCreary.
I'm not so sure he's talking to McCreary. I think he's talking to Keith Primo. We'll have to watch what happens, but here's the penalty. Reverse angle, a little bit of a punch in the head. Obviously, Tkachuk is frustrated from the special attention that he is receiving, and that kind of retaliation plays right into the hands of Detroit.
Well, the Red Wings again are on the power play. Still looking for their first goal with the man advantage. Primo gets it to Larionov. He circles back to the line. Larionov moving in, plays it to the high slot. There's a long shot, and it's held off the stick of Coffey.
It's a real good read by Paul Coffey, as the Red Wings get it in his hands, and they have 3 white jerseys surrounding Roussel. There's only 2 defenders there. If there's any kind of a rebound, they automatically have the advantage right in front of the goal crease. Coffey was trying to get a good low shot in there, looking for the rebound. Javi Bulin actually did a nice job, dropped to his knees early. That's what allowed him to glove that puck.
21-10, the shots on goal favoring the Red Wings. You pointed out, Brian, that there were 9 scoring opportunities on the 11 shots they had in the first period. I think they probably had about 9 more scoring opportunities in the second period. Coffey couldn't keep the puck onside from the faceoff. 1:33 remaining in the penalty to Keith Tkachuk. Primo took a swipe at it on a long pass. Couldn't control it. The Jets eased the pressure. Now Larionov will try and set something up, but the Red Wings are forced back in their own zone by the forechecking of Jamnov and Korolev. 9:20 remaining in the second period. 2-0 the Red Wings lead. Coffey moves it over to Yzerman. Yzerman gets it to Larionov. Primo's out front. He couldn't get the puck to him. Now Now it's Coffey from the point. His shot goes off a stick wide. Dave Manson finally gains control, and he'll clear with 50 seconds remaining in the Kachuk penalty.
Much better job by the penalty killing unit here at Winnipeg, who have been perfect on the night. You know, but so often your best penalty killer is your goaltender. I got to give an awful lot of credit once again to Nikolai Habibulin for keeping this power play off the board.
McCarty gets it back at the point, tried to feed Coffey, and Coffey had to take the pass outside the blue line. Now Fedorov has it. He drops it off for Kozlov. Kozlov trying to work his way in. Stapleton is after him. Kozlov hangs on to it, feeds it back to the line. Fedosov shot right on. And with Fedorov there, Habibulin wisely covers up.
You know, one of the things that this power play does is they don't make a lot of passes along the boards. A lot of tape-to-tape passes. And when you can do that, you buy that extra split second for the puck handler to make the correct decision.
Fedosov will celebrate his 38th birthday tomorrow. And he still looks mighty good.
He certainly does. And here's a play that, again, Fedosov recognizing that there are a couple of white jerseys down in front of Habibulin and only one blue jersey to defend. They got the 2-on-1 set up. Habibulin does a fine job again controlling the rebound, just smothers the initial shot.
13 seconds remaining in the Kachuk penalty. 8:21 in the second period. 2-0 the Red Wings lead. Game 3 of this series will take place Sunday afternoon at the Winnipeg Arena. Game 4 in Winnipeg on Tuesday night. Rouse winds up, pad save, the rebound, and another stop by Habibulin. He was down, but he managed to make 2 key saves.
Well, that was just a brilliant save, because all alone actually was Chris Draper. Got a poke at that puck, and Draper knew exactly what he wanted to do with it. And that was take the rebound and go up high. Watch the work by Habibulin. See how aggressive he is, well out in front of that crease, but watch this play by Draper. Doesn't get it up quite as high as he wanted to. Nonetheless, Habibulin was there with the glove hand.
Rouse and Ramsey are back at the point with 6 seconds remaining in the Kachuk penalty. Tried to get the puck back to Bob Rouse, but the Winnipeg Jets were able to knock it down the ice just as Kachuk comes out of the penalty box. Kachuk is upended down in the Red Wing zone. They continue to battle for the puck along the boards. Chuck and Johnson had a bit of a shoving match again along the boards, and Johnson was leading to referee McCreary that there should have been a penalty call. Now it's Draper. Draper works his way back to the blue line, being bothered there by Olchek. It's chopped back to the Winnipeg goal. Brown trying to move out front, centers it, they score! Chris Draper.
Talked about speed away from the puck. Certainly Chris Draper has that. What a pass across by Doug Brown. The Red Wings just keep coming in waves. Habibulin has been under siege once again. Looked like Draper was offside. Look at Draper, thought he was offside. He stops going. And then he continues on behind the net. At the end of that sequence, it was Brown manages to wheel around, put a nifty little pass across, and then Olchuk can't tie Draper up long enough to prevent him from deflecting that puck in behind the Jets goalkeeper.
Draper's initial reaction as he eased up when the puck was shot in, it appeared as though he too thought he was offside.
Well, it was Pierre Champoux on the lines, and it looked like to me that Champoux had the arm upraised and was about to blow the whistle. And it was a delayed call, and then he waved it off. Look at Draper. He thinks he's offside. He's going to stop going. And then he sees the call. I don't know if you caught the linesman on the right side of your screen, waves it off for him. It's a good break for the Detroit Red Wings. Terrible luck for Winnipeg.
As if the Red Wings needed a break.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a 3-0 hockey game, and of course an offside call is one that cannot be reviewed. 7:34 remaining in the period. Brown and Taylor drawing the assists. Second of the playoffs for Chris Draper. Konstantinov knocked down in his own zone. Kozlov brings it around the boards. Fedorov starts away slowly for the Red Wings. He fires it in deep. Larionov tried to cut out front. Here's a shot and a scoring chance for Fedorov, and it's fired wide. Fedorov jumped so quickly up into the play. Then he steps into Finlay. Now Doan collides with Konstantinov as the puck is knocked down the ice. Kozlov back after it. For Larionov to Fedorov. Fedorov's shot is blocked. Penalty coming up against the Winnipeg Jets. With 6:49 remaining in the second. Eastwood and Fedorov do some pushing. Fedosov is in there as well, along with Jeff Finlay. The Winnipeg Jets, trailing by 3, will be shorthanded once again. Scotty Bowman, looking to become the first man to coach 3 different teams to a Stanley Cup championship, I think realizes his team got a break on the 3rd goal.
No question about it. We roll this forward. Going to pick it up later on. But there wasn't much doubt that that was an offside call. Pretty good hit again by Shane Doan, who has proven very difficult to knock off his feet. Certainly Konstantinov has got the worst of a couple of battles with Doan.
Doan and Fedosov have both gone off. There was an initial penalty call against Doan, and then in the scrum that followed, Fedosov drew a penalty. Sari trying to move around Tverdovsky. Jets pick up the puck, and it's Tkachuk skating his way through the neutral zone with Jamnov. Tkachuk mishandled. Jamnov tries to get it back to the line. Tverdovsky with a long shot that sails wide. Tkachuk in the corner. He's checked by Lidstrom. Puck comes free, and it's fired wide by Tkachuk. He races after it, but Coffey gets there first. Tkachuk steps into him, and he's going to the box again, it would appear.
Well, he was standing about 10 feet away from Bill McCreary when he caught Paul Coffey with the elbow. You can see that all the wires aren't touching right now for Keith Tkachuk. Not much question. He gets the stick and the elbow up high on Coffey. McCreary right there in the corner is going to make that call every time. Frustration getting the better of Tkachuk right now. Take a look at that offside play. Watch the skates of Draper, clearly both across the line before the puck crosses it. Pierre Champoux, in his first ever National Hockey League game on the lines, missed that one.
Well, there wasn't much doubt about it, but there's not much that Terry Simpson can do. Even the man who wound up scoring the goal realized that it was offside. He had slowed down, didn't hear a whistle, so continued after it, and Chris Draper picked it up, circled around the net, and eventually took the perfect feed out front. His second playoff goal to make it 3-0. Now Tkachuk goes off for elbowing at 13:59. Red Wings with plenty of skating room, 4 against 3. Through to Konstantinov, and he was checked by Newman. Red Wings looking for more, leading 3-0 as Coffey controls it at the point. Larionov back to Coffey. Fedorov in front of the net. Larionov looked in front, now gets it back to Coffey. He shoots. It goes wide. Jeff Finlay gets it along the boards, and he's able to clear.
Certainly not the play that the Red Wings were looking for, but boy, oh boy, Coffey just keeps encroaching on that Winnipeg net. He ends up taking the shot almost from the top of the circles.
Konstantinov for Larionov. He scores! What a beautiful touch by Larionov as he put it up high.
and under the bar. Perfect shot up into the top shelf. Abby Bullen takes away the lower corners of the net, but he can't protect against everything. And he just snaps it up. Terrific finish by Igor Larionov.
So the Red Wings finally connect on the power play. It was inevitable with all the chances they had that they were going to wind up scoring a goal with the man advantage, and it's Igor Larionov with his first goal of the postseason to make it 4-0.
You know, you take a look at that Red Wing bench. There's not a lot of celebration going on. They seem very poised. Again, it's business as usual for this hockey club. Nothing they do really impresses them.
Well, this is a team that is on a mission. They refused to pose for a team picture after they won their 61st game to establish a record. They don't feel their season is complete. Jamnoff into the slot, fires it wide. Korolev missed it back of the net. It's picked up by Rouse. Konstantinov and Coffey draw the assists in the power play goal by Larionov at 14:49. Ian Fraser with a rare shift, tried to feed it ahead for Tkachuk. It was broken up. 4:21 remaining in the second period. The Red Wings in complete control, out shooting the Jets by a margin of 26-10 to this stage, and leading by a score of 4-0. Doug Brown drives it in deep. Barry races in after it. Newman on him. Winnipeg defenseman trying to tie him up. Barry continues to battle, but Newman comes away with it. All Newman can do is try and flip it high out of the zone, and instead he puts it over the glass and out of play with 3:58 left in the second. .358 remaining in the second with the Red Wings in front by a score of 4-0. The Red Wings, the dominant team in the NHL this year. They started slowly in their first 20 games. They had 12 wins, 6 losses, and 2 ties. But look what they did over their final 52 games. Only 7 losses. They were the dominant team down the stretch. As a matter of fact, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks also played well down the stretch, but missed the playoffs because of fewer victories, even though they tied with the Winnipeg Jets for the final playoff berth. But 62 wins carried the Red Wings to the President's Trophy.
Been an incredible regular season for the Red Wings. I would point out that 12-6-2 at a slow start is really a relative term at that point. Most clubs would be pretty darn satisfied with that.
Stone can't clear it.
I can think of about 22 others.
You would have loved the 12-6-2 at that time, absolutely. The Red Wings are just smothering the Jets in all 3 zones.
And with each goal that they get, they just seem to get better. You know, they've got so much depth, and they just keep coming at you. They keep applying the pressure until you make those mistakes. And they've got a team loaded with finishers to capitalize.
It's offside. And here the Red Wings have done all the scoring, ahead by a margin of 4-0, 2 shorthanded goals and a power play goal. Total domination by the Red Wings tonight at the Joe Louis Arena, and it looks as though they are going to take a 2-0 lead into Winnipeg for Game 3 on Sunday afternoon. Abby Bullen and Newman almost got tangled up back of the net. Fraser now sends King down the left side. King runs into Konstantinov and goes right over top of him as Konstantinov managed to dump the Winnipeg captain. The fans react to the hit. Not so sure that it was a hit as much as King trying to drive his way right by Konstantinov.
Konstantinov has that ability, a reputation as a bit of a headhunter. It's amazing when you look at Vladimir Konstantinov. He was originally listed in the Detroit Media Guide as 165 pounds. They say he's up around 170, 175, but he just cuts the legs right out from under Chris King. Been a tremendous season for Konstantinov. Not the biggest guy in the world, but not afraid to take on anybody.
And he led the National Hockey League in the plus-minus category. He was a plus 60. .214 remaining in the second period. Yzerman and Olczyk are in the face-off circle. It appears as though Yzerman is going to be waved out and Primo will come in. Olczyk gets the draw back to Jamnov. Centering attempt. Dallas Drake tied up in front of the net. Primo tried to whip it around the boards and out. Korolev throws it in front. Nobody in position to accept his pass. And the Red Wings skated out to safety. They do even more than that as Yzerman brings it all the way into Winnipeg territory. McCarty bumps with Jamnov. Primo comes in to help out. Jamnov gets the puck softly along the boards to Korolev, but he can't get out. 1:42 remaining in the second period. Muni's attempt to clear is blocked by the Red Wings as they pressure the Jets in their own zone.
The longer that puck stays deep in the Winnipeg territory, the more bodies that Primo and McCarty get to lay on that Winnipeg defense. Believe me, that takes its toll.
Now it's Jamnov trying to move the puck out. The Red Wings keep it in. A spin-around shot blocked by Abby Bullen. The Jets right now having difficulty moving the puck out of their own zone. Olczyk goes down after it. That takes off the icing call. Coffey is watching him. Olczyk attempted to center, but it went back of the net. Now at the point, it's Manson with a shot. That goes wide as we move into the final minute. McIver tried to keep it onside, but it's knocked out to center ice. Shannon steps into Coffey as Manson gets the puck, throws it up through the neutral zone. And it's an offside pass with 46.1 seconds remaining in period 2. And at this time, we say hello to viewers all across the country who are joining us here at the Joe Louis Arena. The Red Wings leading Winnipeg by a score of 4-0. I'm Don Whitman along with Brian Hayward and Scott Oak, and Scotty Bowman has to be pleased with the performance of his team in tonight's hockey game. 2 shorthanded goals and the power play goal, but the shorthanded goals really did in the Winnipeg Jets early in this hockey game.
Well, it's been a dominant performance. They're out shooting the Winnipeg Jets 28-10 at this point in the hockey game, and if not for the efforts of Nikolai Habibulin, it probably could be a lot worse.
Manson had problems controlling the puck in the neutral zone. And the whistle on the play with 33.5 seconds remaining in period 2.
I'm sure that Nikolai must feel like, when is the ice going to get tilted in the other direction, because the Red Wings have just been storming the net. They got out that tremendous speed. Dave Manson flies a little bit of a face wash. Chris Draper, I don't think that'll be slowing him down, however.
Manson goes back after it. Being watched now by Draper as Manson starts out of his own zone, dishes it off to McIver, then takes a return pass. Puck comes off the end boards right in front of the Red Wing goal. Just couldn't get anybody in there quickly enough to forecheck Ramsey as he was able to skate it out to center ice. And as the final seconds tick away, Dave Manson simply whips it along the boards and out. And the Detroit Red Wings head to the dressing room after 2 periods of play, comfortably in front of the Winnipeg Jets in the second game of the quarterfinal series by a score of 4-0.
Last night at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Doug Gilmour to Matt Sundin. He scores the overtime goal, 3rd point on the night for Gilmour, who responds to Gretzky in Game 1. The Leafs win at 5-4 in OT and even the series in 1. The strange part, Doug, about that play, it looked like you were feeding it to somebody other, and it went off McInnes to Matz. Who was it going to?
It was going to Larry Murphy, actually. I was behind the net. It looked like they were kind of going over towards Matz, and I saw Larry in the open, and it kind of hit somebody and went to Matz, and it went in. So.
This series is all the makings of bloodlust now, of course. With Grant injured, the Blues will be very sensitive if you start to win. How do you discuss that and approach the next 5?
Well, by no means you go into a game trying to hurt any individual on any team for what the comments have been said throughout yesterday and today. And we're a hockey club that's just going to go out and work hard, and we've got to compete right now, and that's all we're doing. If last night's any indication of what our hockey club can do and what we're playing against, we should be okay.
I want to show you one. We're going to show you a couple of clips here. One that I thought's hilarious, and this one's a beauty. You on Wayne Gretzky's been the matchup, of course, through the 2 games, and before that, you take out Gretzky. Corson and Gretzky are flying along the boards here, and watch the hit on 99. Tell us about hitting him as much as you can.
Well, what it was there, we're killing a penalty, and I think anytime you make a pass, a blind pass, I'm just reading to see where Wayne is all night. I've got to compete against him, and I got to beat him, and that's what I'm really basing this series on. If I can go out and beat Wayne Gretzky, then the other guys can do their job. And anytime he has the puck in this series, I got to hit him.
That's great stuff. You also took on Shane Corson. We're not going to show that, but it was a hip check just inside your own blue line. Best hip check I've seen since you're an AB Stag. But now, Shane was really upset, and I'm sorry I threw that on Amy, by the way. We're going to show this little clip here where you block a shot in the final seconds of regulation time. Watch what happens. Brett Hull comes over. It looks like he's concerned for you. God love Brett. He's a good guy. See, he's worried. He's actually checking you. And then Corson comes over and says, get up. Get up.
I think Brett was just waiting for the puck to come loose.
He actually was. I'm kidding. There's Corson. He's still mad about the hip check you through.
Yeah, he was. There's another guy. He's a fierce competitor and coming back from an injury, but at the same time, we got to be tough on these guys.
And maybe just a final comment on what you've done through this 2-day break. It's strange to get a couple off after only 2 games. How did Nick approach that, and when do you head off to St. Louis?
Well, we head off tomorrow. We leave at 4 o'clock. Today was a great day. I spent most of the day at home, and I kind of enjoyed the sunshine a little bit, went for a walk, but I've been on the couch. I got to say, I've been on the couch. The body's pretty sore right now.
Well, you can go right back there and watch the rest of the game. Appreciate you coming
Thanks,
in.
Ron.
Doug Gilmour, captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. His club heading for St. Louis, tied a game apiece in their quarterfinal series. More action next on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
The Red Wings got a first period shorthanded goal from Paul Coffey, another from Doug Brown. Then Chris Draper scored at even strength. Igor Larionov on the power play. Keith Tkachuk was expected to be a factor in this series for Winnipeg, but as a goal scorer, not spending time in the penalty box, and he took 3 penalties in the second period.
Yeah, and some bad ones too, right in front of referee Bill McCreary, and our own Scott Oak actually talked to Tkachuk earlier on.
Keith, you've acknowledged your role as the leader on this team, but are you personally frustrated out there tonight?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially when you're getting bad refereeing like that. You know, when you're in the penalty box, you might as well bring your purse out there to play.
How about your power play? At one point late in the season is going 40%. It's a liability tonight. How do you explain that?
Everything's a liability. Everything that goes. We had everything against us tonight. It's just very, very, very frustrating.
Feel sorry for your goaltender?
Yeah, I mean, he's been great all year. We got to put him through this. It's he's been great all year. We can't happen like this.
Well, some of the problems the Jets have created themselves, but they were scored upon on a very obvious offside goal by Chris Draper.
Well, there's no question that they are outmatched against the Detroit Red Wings, and for this club to be successful, the bottom line is those first 2 lines have to be very productive. Detroit has the edge in the depth department. Players like Dave Manson, Tkachuk and Janney and the likes have got to start putting the puck on the net and generating some offense. Otherwise, it's Happy Bulin all by himself.
Well, the cross-checking call has been assessed by referee McCreary. There was the first period goal by Coffey, shorthanded at 6:35, followed up by another shorthanded goal by Doug Brown. Then it was Draper at even strength on an offside, what should have been an offside call, and Larionov on the power play. And now Keith Primo goes to the box, and the Winnipeg Jets will have a power play.
We'll get a chance to take a look at the penalty right here. Both hands on the stick. Primo actually shatters the shaft of his stick over the left arm of Dave Manson. Not too much question about that one. Kind of tough to dispute it when the evidence is lying on the ice.
Fedorov gets the puck back to Lidstrom. Lidstrom takes his time before lobbing it in on Happy Bulin. Tverdovsky now for Korolev. Korolev misses Stapleton with a pass, and the Red Wings are just not allowing the Jets to get anything going with the man advantage. They've been doing that all night. Now Now it's McIver through for Stapleton. It bounced away from him. He tried to leave it back at the net. Comes up along the boards. Tverdovsky cuts off a clearing attempt. Stapleton slides it in deep. Korolev tries to spin away from Konstantinov. Gets the puck behind the net to Dallas Drake, who can't do anything with it. Tverdovsky back to the line. McIver at the side of the net was looking for Korolev, and the puck bounced over his stick, and the Red Wings will clear.
You know, and this is a bit of a subtle message, or maybe a not so subtle message from Terry Simpson, that he's a little bit unhappy with the play of his star players. He starts the power play with Stapleton up front.
Kind of a makeshift power play unit with Drake and Korolev. Now along the boards, the Jets trying to control it. Olczyk for Tkachuk. Tkachuk looking for Jani. Jani tried to throw it out front. Olczyk steals for Tkachuk. Osgood with a huge save as he came sliding across.
That's just going to add to the frustration of the Winnipeg Jets when they do get their opportunities. Then they got to deal with Osgood. He's playing a pretty fine game.
In front, Tkachuk couldn't get a stick on it. Olczyk took a swipe at it, and Osgood comes up with another save. This is the best the Winnipeg power play has looked in the entire series.
And it's all due to passing down low. That's the only way they can beat that pressure, is to move it around quickly and with those tape-to-tape passes.
And the fans at the Joe Louis start a chant of Ozzie, Ozzie, Ozzie. He's become a real favorite here in Detroit. Red Wings at full strength as Taylor banks it off the boards for Draper. McIver's on him. The puck goes behind the goal. Chris King runs over Draper, back to the point. Fedosov with a shot through traffic. It just goes wide. Konstantinov keeps it onside. Maltby is bumped along the boards by Chris King. McIver trying to move the puck, and finally it winds up in skates and results in a whistle. 16:45 is the time remaining in the third period.
Well, if you are looking for some positives for the Winnipeg Jets, they have had some more scoring chances in this hockey game. Good play by Eddie Olczyk, shows some perseverance down low. Tkachuk gets the opportunity, and a fine save by Osgood, and then a wild scramble in front of Osgood, and this time Osgood able to get the paddle of the stick down on Olczyk. Here's a big hit by Chris King, the first such big hit dealt out by King in this series so far, and certainly that's his role on this hockey club, and another way that players in the Winnipeg Jets can build momentum in a hockey game or in a series as well.
King and Konstantinov had a big collision late in the second period. King attempting to hurdle Konstantinov, and the Red Wing defenseman catching him and upending him, and now a penalty call against the Winnipeg Jets.
This is going to be an interference call against Norm McIver. He's trying to buy a little bit of extra time for his defense partner. A chance to see it right here. Take a look at McIver. He just hooks Chris Draper from behind. Draper goes down. A little bit of a dive perhaps by Draper, but Bill McCreary buys into it. McIver can't believe it.
Well, this is something that the Winnipeg Jets, prior to this series getting underway on Wednesday, said they would have to avoid frequent trips to the penalty box. They've made far too many tonight to really have any chance against this potent Red Wing machine.
Well, we've talked about it, the second best power play in the league, and you can't give them too many kicks at the can, or they're going to bury you. Dave Manson has to step up in this series. Manson has not been a factor on the positive side for Winnipeg. They need a lot more out of him.
Fedorov now at center ice. It's it to Larionov. He had a goal and an assist in the second period. Konstantinov, look at him. He's down deep. Down in the corner. Fedosov, the lone man back at the point. As he tried to slip it through, it was blocked by Dallas Drake and knocked back out to center ice. Ahead for Fedorov. Fedorov manages to control it. Larionov couldn't get a shot away as he was checked from behind.
The Red Wings again, they just seem to have such a pattern with their offense. Not afraid to send those defensemen right down deep below the hash marks. A good time that time by the Winnipeg penalty killing unit to pick them up.
Here comes Coffey as he wheels his way down to the line. He was being bothered from behind by Darren Shannon. Coffey gets the puck again back at the point, over to the other side. Cross ice to Yzerman, and he fanned as he tried to one-time the setup from Lidstrom. 47 seconds remaining in the penalty to Norm McIver. Paul Coffey starts out of his own zone again. He attempted to slide it through in the left wing to Yzerman. It bounced away from him. Stapleton gets the puck and is able to skate it ahead for Chris King. King trying to go around Coffey. Coffey got enough of him to knock him off the puck. King bumps over along the boards with McCarty. Lidstrom comes up with the puck. Ahead to Coffey. Coffey behind his back. There's a shot that sails high over top of the net. 9 seconds left in the Winnipeg penalty. The Jets are able to dump it down the ice and kill off the attraction of Norm McIver.
A real good job by Craig Muni. Takes on 2 Red Wing forwards and comes up victor in the battle for that puck. That second effort is going to play a huge role for Winnipeg when they head home for Game 3 of this series.
The Red Wings attempted the lead pass at the Winnipeg blue line. It's offside and will bring or an icing call, I should say, and we'll bring it all the way back into the Red Wing zone. Steve Yzerman has had a solid 2 games so far in this series. He hasn't been able to score as yet, but he's been a factor whenever he's been on the ice.
Well, he's a kind of a quiet leader of this Detroit hockey club. Konstantinov, I don't think you could categorize him as a quiet leader. He makes his presence known out on the ice. The Red Wings have that quick strike offense, and boy, oh boy, when that puck turns over, do they jump into the play.
Transition game so important, and Draper was attempting to go for the net. There's going to be another Winnipeg penalty as Draper was hauled down trying to drive through the slot.
Alexei Zhamnov pulls down Draper. Draper has got the good set of wheels, and he had to step on Zhamnov. Appeared to be a 2-on-1 developing. Zhamnov trailing the play, fails to keep the legs moving. Reach out with the hook. No question again. A long night for Terry Simpson. Keeps tapping those penalty killers on the shoulders and sending them over the boards. Take a look at the right side of your screen. You see Zhamnov. He appeared to be almost side by side with Draper. But he stops skating and reaches out and pulls him down. Zhamnov, who's been perhaps the best Winnipeg forward in this hockey game, takes another ill-advised penalty.
Well, Terry Simpson certainly did not want to get into this situation. He spoke so often prior to this series getting underway about the need for discipline on the part of the Winnipeg Jets. And tonight I would suggest, Brian, the Jets at times have been more than a little undisciplined. Now there's going to be an offsetting penalty against the Red Wings as Dallas Drake was nailed behind the net by Konstantinov.
Konstantinov felt the pressure from Dallas Drake, and he went down low, and it's always a concern when a player drops down like this and he's going for the knees. I think that's why Bill McCreary made the call. Konstantinov doesn't understand it. He knows he's going to get hit. Watch what he does. Just drops right down to the ice. Dallas Drake goes over top of him. I think McCreary calls this an interference penalty against Konstantinov. First time I've seen an interference penalty called for avoiding a check. It was actually a pretty smart play by Konstantinov.
Dallas Drake, initially a Red Wing draft choice, and when he was traded from the Red Wings to the Winnipeg Jets, there was a feeling that he would become a fairly consistent 20 to 25 goal scorer. This year he had a career high 19 goals for Winnipeg. Paul Coffey in discussion with the referee, Bill McCreary. I wonder if that gentleman ever looks in the mirror before he heads out to the Joe Louis Arena.
Hopefully not. Like an old goalie.
Centering attempt, and Keith Tkachuk in the slot couldn't reach it. 4 against 4. Zhamnov in the penalty box for Winnipeg. Konstantinov for the Red Wings. Here's Tkachuk now trying to work past Lidstrom. Long shot. It bounces on Osgood, but it slides off to the corner. A centering attempt by Janney is picked off and dumped down the ice. Back after it goes Dave Manson with 13:30 remaining in the third period. Winnipeg trailing by a score of 4-0. Two shorthanded goals, one in the first, one early in the second. Really the undoing of the Winnipeg Jets tonight in this second game of the quarterfinal series. From a sharp angle, the puck fired wide. Yzerman fed it in neatly to Brown. Now Janney for Newmanen. Newmanen tried to fire it back into the slot area. It's intercepted by Coffey, who skates away with Fedorov. Fedorov puts on the brakes, tries to get it back to Coffey. Coffey having problems, now picks it up. Coffey circles back to the line, still controlling, working around Finlay. Listen to the crowd react as he tried to go the wraparound route, but had it poked away at the last minute.
The Jets just kind of standing around. They go into a little bit of a prevent defense. Coffey just hangs on to the puck with that skating ability of his, manages to get something going.
Korolev took that shovel pass up the middle from Stapleton, but had problems controlling it as it bounced towards goaltender Osgood. Another penalty call. Referee McCreary has his arm up, indicating a Winnipeg penalty, and the Red Wings get the extra attacker out there with Osgood going to the bench. And ahead to Fedosov. Fedosov works his way in across the line. Jamnov is back in the ice. Now Fedosov feeds it back to the point. Lidstrom at the side of the net. Fedorov trying to slide it out front, and it's smothered by Khabibulin. 1 second remaining in the penalty to Konstantinov. And it looks as though Dave Manson was fingered by referee Bill McCreary.
It's going to be a roughing call against Dave Manson. Again, another very undisciplined penalty for the Winnipeg Jets.
Right now, let's go down to ice level, and here's Scotto.
All right, Don Markow's 22-year distinguished pro hockey career ended last year here in Detroit. Mark, before I ask you about that, are your former mates a team of destiny this year?
I think so. I mean, we had a feeling last year, and this team has grown even so much more from the feeling we had last year. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Any regrets about not sticking around one more year to try and get the Stanley Cup ring that you don't have?
No, I try to look forward instead of looking back. So the body's telling me to quit, and I finally listened to it.
Great to see you again. Thanks for your time, Mark.
Well, thank you.
Larionov in the corner. Centers it. It went through the crease, and the Winnipeg Jets' Chris King starts away. A roughing penalty against Dave Manson. 11:42 remaining in the third period. The Red Wings in front by a score of 4-0. Still 1:36 remaining in the Manson penalty. The long shoot-in comes off the end boards. Kozlov takes his time, but Khabibulin slid across with him.
Khabibulin shows tremendous balance as he moves laterally across that goal crease, maintains his feet to make the save on Kozlov. It's another look that the Red Wings give you. This time they dump the puck in. You don't expect them to do that. You've got Kozlov streaking through the center of the ice. Look at Khabibulin. He does a tremendous job of maintaining his balance, allows him to make a fine positional save.
Well, the Red Wings are impressed with the way Nikolai Khabibulin has played. Some of them said we don't really know how to pronounce his name, but we do know one thing: he can play goal.
I have a little difficulty with that myself.
Larionov tried to fire it across to Fedosov, sneaking in from the point, and all 6 Red Wing defensemen have been jumping up into the play tonight. I think that's a souvenir that may have wound up in a glass of the bubbly here at the Joe Loup. Now the question is, will he save the drink?
I'm betting yes. Okay, you know, you look at this hockey game, you look at the guys who are supposed to be the leaders and who must lead this Winnipeg team if they're going to be successful. And you're talking about Keith Tkachuk, you're talking about Dave Manson back on the blue line. And when they take bad penalties, it sends a message that, you know, that they're just not playing the game the way it needs to be played in order for Winnipeg to pull out a victory.
Well, against the Red Wings, you have to have your skating legs going for a full 60 minutes. Terry Simpson didn't think the Winnipeg Jets in Game 1 skated the way they are capable of. And I don't think there's any question that tonight they haven't done that either, except for brief flurries.
Well, it's going to be back to the drawing board for Simpson again, and you have to wonder if he's going to perhaps do some kind of a shakeup. It's been a while since the Tkachuk Danny Drake line has been an offensive threat. I'm not talking about just in these 2 playoff games, towards the end of the regular season as well.
Lidstrom's shot deflects wide from the other point. Paul Coffey is checked along the boards. Puck comes out to center ice, but Coffey manages to get back there, but there's a whistle on the play. Apparently it was brought out and then knocked back in again offside.
Darren Shannon has not had an awful lot of ice time in this series. Certainly Shannon can be an effective performer down low in front of the net and on the forecheck as well. I think that Chris King has perhaps played his best period of hockey so far in the postseason tonight. Laid out a couple of pretty good hits.
Still 24 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dave Manson. Draper is out there with Taylor and Brown for the Red Wings. Mike Ramsey drives it in deep. King is checked along the boards. Draper trying to free it. Now Taylor looks back to the point, gives it instead to Draper. Draper got turned around, but still manages to control the puck, gets it back to the line to Rouse. Rouse's shoot-in is blocked, and the Winnipeg Jets bring it out with the penalty to Manson now over. Neverdowski couldn't shoot it in. King brings it in. He lets a long shot go high off the glass. Rouse and Stapleton battle along the boards. Now King comes in to help out. Draper is there as well, and he comes away with the puck. Draper leading a 3-on-2. Ahead to Brown, and Brown was checked. The Winnipeg Jets get it out to center ice. Eastwood is bumped. Stapleton trying to move it ahead. Picked up now by Eastwood. Eastwood drops it off for Shannon. Shannon attempted to throw it in front. It was blocked. McIver leaves it back of the net for Shannon. Shannon to the point to Dave Manson. Manson winds up, shoots right on the rebound off the side of the net. Almost steered in by Mike Eastwood. Big shot from the point by Dave Manson.
Eastwood had a crack at it, but Tisov did a good job of tying him up in the rebound opportunity.
Dallas Drake took a shot. It was blocked. Manson lets it go again. It bounces in front of the net, right in front of the goal. Mike Eastwood took a swipe at it, but the puck never got to him. Now it's Maltby trying to crash through. He spun around, but as he fell, he still managed to get a swipe at the puck. Airy from a sharp angle fires it wide. Johnson fighting with Manson. The Winnipeg defenseman skates it out to center ice. Puts on the brakes and dumps it in. Goes to the bench on the change. It's Coffey. Moves it over to the right side. It's played out to center ice. Fired right back in by Winnipeg with 8:18 remaining in the third. 4-0. The Red Wings leading. 1 goal in the first period, 3 in the second. No scoring so far in the third. Now here's a chance for Maltby. He has Johnson moving up with him. Maltby puts on the brakes, tries to slip it through, and Jeff Finlay picks it up for Winnipeg.
The Red Wings already clicking it into that mode where they start working on the clock.
Here comes Coffey. He tried to center. Another centering attempt back to the line for Lidstrom. And Harvey Bullen comes up with another big save off a Red Wing defenseman from directly between the hash marks.
Jets come close again. You see Mike Eastwood just unable to reach that rebound opportunity. But look at Happy Bullen, another brilliant save. Lidstrom walked right into the slot to tee up the one-timer. Another aggressive challenge by Happy Bullen.
Coffey maneuvers into position. He'll shoot, and Happy Bullen makes another save. Coffey gets it again. He's all over the ice, isn't he? 7:27 remaining in the third period. Steve Yzerman flips it high under some pressure. McIver waits for it in the neutral zone, gloves it ahead, but Yzerman gets it back. Yzerman attempting to go around Manson is stopped. Manson moves it ahead to Tkachuk. Tkachuk trying to work his way through. And there's going to be a penalty against Lidstrom. So with 7:02 remaining in the third, the Winnipeg Jets will go on the power play.
Advise the McKenzie family in Estevan to get the VCR going because their boy Jim is about to be interviewed on Hockey Night in Canada. This is a tough one to watch. I know you wish you were playing. Where's it gone wrong?
Just too many weapons. They just keep coming at us with something different every time.
Think you'll get the call to play in Winnipeg?
I sure hope so.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Jim McKenzie is not dressed for the first 2 games in this series. Winnipeg Jets on the power play. Fedorov skates through the neutral zone. A neat pass to Doug Brown. Brown leaves it there for Konstantinov. He tried to throw it into the slot for Fedorov. It's picked off. Jamnov starts away for Winnipeg, but he's got Fedorov harassing him. Now into the slot area, and it's poked away by Konstantinov, who had been down deep offensively for Detroit. He gets back to make a key play defensively.
It's remarkable, really. I mean, the Red Wings are killing a penalty right now, and Konstantinov not afraid to wander all the way up into the offensive zone, deep on a play. Red Wings just seem to have so much confidence. It'll be tough for this Winnipeg club to come back.
Well, it's going to be tough for almost any team the Red Wings play in this postseason. They are the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup this year. Here's Paul Coffey. Now deciding to take it back out of the Winnipeg zone to kill off some of the time, and the penalty to Nicholas Lidstrom. Coffey, rink wide to Airy. It's picked off. That was great. Tried to feed it through to Mike Stapleton. It was blocked and dumped down the ice, and Tverdovsky is forced to go back.
There's not much question that they don't have a lot of holes in the lineup. Very well-prepared club as well. We've talked about the poise that they have, and again, they just kind of matter-of-factly go about taking care of their responsibilities, and that talent takes over when necessary and able to put the puck in the net.
Well, the Red Wings this year were determined to play a stronger defensive game. Last year, they lost in 4 straight to the New Jersey Devils, and there was a sour taste in their mouth, and Scotty Bowman implemented a defensive scheme this year. That has worked. Now let's go to the broadcast center in Toronto, and here's Ron McKenzie. Yes, during the regular season, the Chicago Blackhawks did not win a game against the Calgary Flames. They were 0-2-2, but it looks as though they could take a 2-0 lead in the series before it heads back to Calgary. And Pittsburgh and Washington, as you saw, are still in a 3-3 tie. Another come-from-behind effort tonight by Washington.
Capitals, a team you just can never count them out.
Red Wings back at full strength. The shot is just deflected wide as Taylor brings it out to center ice, banks it off the boards for Johnson. Johnson is spun around. Jets having problems getting it out. Airy's long shot blocked before it gets to the net. 4:29 remaining in the hockey game. 4-0 the Red Wings leading, out shooting the Jets by a 33-16 margin. Konstantinov dishes it off to Maltby. He has Johnson trailing. Johnson takes the pass, now looks back to the high slot. Fedosov moves in, tried to slide it across. It was blocked. Maltby along the boards is checked as the Jets bring it out to center. Penalty call coming up against the Red Wings. And with 4 minutes remaining, Winnipeg will again have a power play.
Take a good look at Chris King, Thespian. Watch the phantom roughing or high stick, whatever you want to call it, on Maltby here. Well, look at the reaction of King. It doesn't come within 12 inches of his chin. McCreary made the call. Kirk Maltby sits down for the next couple of minutes. The roughing call.
His head snapped back as though he had been poleaxed, and that caught the attention of referee McCreary, obviously. However, I don't think he should try that one again. Here's Yzerman trying to move around Manson. Winnipeg defenseman was able to cut him off. Janney along the boards tries to dig it out. Janney takes his time, now moves it across to Jamnov. He has Tkachuk with him. Tkachuk takes the pass. Tkachuk is forced to throw it around the boards for Jamnov. Jamnov for Tkachuk. Back to Jamnov. Jamnov fakes the shot. Now plays it back to the net. Janney in the corner. For Olczyk. Olczyk is tied up. Yzerman comes back. He digs up the loose puck and takes his time before flipping it high. One of the big things in Steve Yzerman's play this year is the added defensive responsibilities he has taken on.
Well, he's always been a good penalty killer, but he's really kind of changed his role on the hockey club. And you talk about getting your leaders to lead by example. Yzerman certainly has done that this season. He has sacrificed offensive totals. And we used to think of Stevie Yzerman as a consistent 100-point man. He continues to score pretty impressive numbers, but it's the work back of the blue line that has really drawn the amount of praise for Yzerman this season.
Now the fans send up another chant of Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Stapleton feeds it out front. McIver's shot is high. Orland looks to the point. Now McIver getting set, dodges a check. McIver feeds it back to Newman at the side of the net. Korolev across to McIver. He shoots and fires wide. At the point, Newman keeps it onside. McIver moving in. Tkachuk in front of the net. He's in a real battle there with Bob Rouse. And finally, the Red Wings clear, and that will kill off the penalty to Malkin.
Well, Tkachuk was also in a real battle with Chris Osgood. Osgood hit him square in the back a couple of times with the blocker. Tkachuk reminding Bill McCreary of that as he left the ice surface.
Taylor pushes it ahead to Johnson. Johnson flips it into Winnipeg territory. Back after it goes Craig Muni. He's bodied by Kirk Maltby, and now Maltby steps into Darren Shannon. This line doing a lot of hard work for the Red Wings in the offensive zone, playing a very physical game.
Well, it's pretty much mop-up time, and I'm sure that Scotty Bowman wants to protect his skilled players towards the end of a hockey game and not risk any kind of injury. I mean, the game, for all intents and purposes, is over. It's already won. The only thing left to be decided is whether or not they'll be able to maintain the shutout for Osgood.
Osgood during the regular season had 5 shutouts. We're in the final minute. Larionov is out there now. He goes cross ice to Primo in the slot. It bounced away from him. The fans standing, roaring their approval. They like what they've seen from the Red Wings tonight here at the Joe Louis Arena in this second game of the quarterfinal series. This series will shift to Winnipeg for games 3 and 4 Sunday afternoon and Tuesday night. And of course, we'll have them for you on Hockey Night in Canada. Darren McCarty tried to cut through the neutral zone. He was upset at the blue line by Norm McIver as the fans begin the countdown. Looks very much as though Chris Osgood is going to wind up with his playoff shutout. And now that poses the question, who will Scotty Bowman start in Game 3 in Winnipeg? Osgood or Mike Vernon?
Well, this was just a dominant performance by the Red Wings. Osgood made the big stops when he needed to. A little bit of a scrum after the whistle, but it's a little bit too late. For the Winnipeg Jets, there's Manson and McCarty. And a frustrating evening for the Jets. We've taken way too many penalties against this Detroit club. You can't put that power play unit out on the ice. The Winnipeg Jets started this game on the right foot. They came out hitting. They got the puck deep. They applied the pressure, but they just couldn't break through. The Red Wings were too much.
Chris Osgood, really a fan favorite at the Joe Louis Arena. 16 saves for a 4-0 shutout.